Welcome everybody. What's going on? How you doing, guys? Real happy to see everybody today. We're looking forward to having a great show. Let's start off like we always do and welcoming the people in chat. We got about 50 people in chat right now. I appreciate every one of you. Thanks, Avid, for sharing out my link over at Catfish Weekly. That was a cool show with Mike Greenwell. I was watching the whole time. Congratulations to the prize winners. You guys are lucky people because we all know I don't win very often. I might have won. Trey, I might have won like one, I don't know, maybe like two prizes the whole time, maybe three if I'm lucky. My favorite one, I have a couple of favorites, but I won't name them. But they're good stuff. So, anyways, all right, let's say hello to everybody. I see Papa T in the house. What's going on? AKA Papa T. How you doing? I see Miss Annette Morgan. Thank you for checking out the show. Avid Fisherman. How you doing, Avid? Brandon's Outdoors Adventures. What's up, Brandon? How you doing, bud? Carmel Muncie in the house. I see Catfishing with Kaz. I saw Catfishing with Kaz fishing with Jody last week. It was great to put a face to a name. It was very nice to see you out there fishing, and you come very highly regarded from Miss Jody, from what I understand. She said she enjoyed fishing with you. There's Cindy Stokes. How you doing, Cindy? Always great to see Cindy in there. She is the goddess of cinnamon rolls. I see Crappie Day Fish on, a channel crew member. Thank you for your support, Crappie Day. I appreciate you. Dale Hayslips in the house. What's up, Dale? There's David Smith. I see Don R. What's up, Don? There's my buddy Eric Massey, Jig Company. I'm going to get him on the show here real soon. That's going to be one I'm really looking forward to. If you haven't checked out his social media, he kills it on all sorts of social media, whether it's YouTube or TikTok. I've seen him have over 500 people watching him tie jigs live on TikTok in the dead of the night. We're talking about like 2 a.m. I see Chucky Morgan came in here. David Smith's in the house. There's Fields to Water. There's my buddy Chad. Chad, as soon as I get out of this screen, we'll make you a mod so people don't target you. Fish and Freedom in the house. What's going on, Richard? How you doing? Hey, look at that, Richard with a $2 super chat. Thank you to both him and Freddie. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Freddie's Outdoor Adventures. Look at that. He is a crew member. How you doing, Freddie? Did Freddie just join? Let me scroll up here and take a look here real quick. Might have been. Man, Chad's going good. He gave a super chat and looks like he's a crew member. Thank you, sir. Greenwell Fishing. Good interview, Mike. It was good to see you on the screen. Mike's been on my show too. It's always a pleasure seeing him, whether it's fishing or on one of the shows. There's Chris over at Hooks and Hammocks. Please say hello to Telly and thank her for allowing you to be another Catfish and Crappie crew member. I see Itty Bitty Kitty Committee. We always got to be careful when we say that name. We really enjoy seeing that name in chat, though. Jeremy Colvin Fishing. Jeremy, how you doing? It's great to see you back out in the chats, my friend. Jersey River Rat. Hey, Jersey had a live feed today, guys. If one of my mods would be kind enough to look up his channel and maybe post his link. He had messaged me and said that nobody was in there watching his live stream today. He is a newer YouTuber. At least we can do is go in there and check him out and see what he has to offer. You don't know, man. He could have caught a monster. I see Jeremy Colvin. I said hello. Joe Buck 66. He's in all the shows. What's up, Joe Buck? The man. There's my buddy Justin's Fishing Fetish. How you doing, Justin? Keith Smart in the house. Glad to see Keith in there. He's had some health issues. We've all been pulling for him. Hopefully that's gotten him to where he is today, if it's better, that is. Kevin Baker, Nuts and Bolts Fishing. What's up, Kevin? There's Lance McCoo. What's going on, Lance? Hey, Lance, I had a buddy checking out the bite out in Milwaukee this weekend, and he said there was nothing. Nobody was catching anything. I think we need to wait for some colder weather. There's crew member LG Bass in the house. What's going on, Tom? He's back on the Catfish. I know he reached his yearly goal of 365, but he went a step further. I think he's up to like 385, if I remember correctly from our members only chat. Congratulations, LB Bass. Way to go, way to slay. There's Miss Lizabella Kirkpatrick Thomas. Great lady. I had her on our show with her brother James. That was a lot of fun to have them. There's Matt Crowell. I believe that's a new one, Matt. If I'm mistaken, please forgive me. Mike Irvin in the house. What's up, Mike? I see Mike's fishing home, another crew member. What's going on, Mike? Mike has his show late at night. Hopefully he's feeling better too. He had some health stuff going on. Mo Creek fishing crew member. What's going on, Rob? How you doing, my friend? Northeast Missouri angler. Northeast, that means he's probably one of the closer Missouri anglers to me. Glad to have you. Parker Pursuits. What's up, Parker? Always going live. There's my friend Patriot James. He's got his show on Wednesday nights. I see Paul catches them all. Now, that's a pretty bold statement, don't you think, Trey? That's a bold statement. I
can back it up.
Oh, good. I like the positivity. Philip Williams in the house. Potomac River Monsters. What's up, my friends? I see Rebecca and Jamie in the house. I think that's a new one. Welcome. Rustic Outdoors in the house. Ricky over at Solo Text Adventures. He sent me a picture today of like 100, I think it was 115 or 119 pound blue cat that somebody caught today out by him. Crazy. That's a big fish.
That'd be nice.
Tom was telling me about that too. Tom, if you want to put in chat where, not exactly where that was caught, but on one lake, I think it was Tim King who got a hold of that one, or on one of his trips. That's a big fish. I see my Frank Twisted Fishing TV is another crew member. Warrior Heart Fishing, welcome. Wayne Huska, what's up? Whisker Dreams in the house. Whiskers and Stripes, and we got Fat Boy Catfishing. Man, it's grown. Let me scroll through this again. I want to make sure I say hello to Dee. I know Dee wasn't feeling well. Hopefully she's feeling better. Hopefully she's watching out there. If you are, Dee, best wishes. Dory to death, sis. I know Betty's out there watching in the background. Betty, how you doing, sis? Much love to you. 3+1 Outdoors in the house. Bugman 22 came in here. Carmel Muncie popped in. There's Sean over at Catfish Heroes. You know who Sean is, don't you?
I do.
Even in one of your videos, you shouted him and Epic out, didn't you?
He goes out with Mr. Epic all the time.
Yep. There's crew member Dan Thompson. He's been a supporter for some time. David Smith. Dinks over Stink Catfishing. That's another cool name. Fishing with Squirrel in the house. Chad's in here now. Chad went under the guise of his old username just so people wouldn't start. Have they been? I'll have to look on the other screen. Hopefully they're not picking on you, bud. Make sure you subscribe to Fields to Waters YouTube channel. Chad got the hose got the business from YouTube. He made his 1K, but yet they denied him his monetization, which is a terrible thing to happen. I feel for you. Same with Jeremy Colvin. They're trying to get all them subscribers back, which is a lot of work. So my heart goes out to both of them guys. Let's see if I missed anybody. I see Southern Wild FN. Wild Fishing, I guess that's what it means. Welcome. Let's see. Whisker Dreams, I think I said hello. I think I got everybody. James Kirkpatrick, if you're out there watching, I want to say hello to you too. That's a mouthful. God bless every single one of them. I want to thank everybody for coming in. Let's see what else we got here. Look at that. Mike's Fishing Home has been a member for 4 months. Thank you for your support. And I definitely want to highlight Avid did a super chat here. Let's see here. I want to make sure I highlight that from Avid. Wayne Huska with the $5 super chat. Man, you guys are too good to me. I adore every single one of you.
Deserve
Support. There's Avid. Avid says bacon. Did you know I liked bacon? I really do love bacon, and the crowd knows that. I think they just want to get it over with because they know if I start talking about it, it's going to be the end of it. Let's see if I missed any more chat here before I start. Scrolling through everybody. Scrolling through. If you're a streamer, you know that StreamYard's a little 130-pound blue was caught in Kerr Lake this weekend. That's what I heard.
Wow.
That is what I heard. There's Lyle over at Catfish Weekly. Great show, Lyle, as always. There's Fields to Waters. Let's see if Chad's Creole Catfishing with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Creole. There's a couple crosses fishing. Betty, you're not late. You are busy taking care of what you got to take care of. She's a busy lady. I appreciate you, Betty. Wow, I am overwhelmed. Welcome to the Catfish and Crappie podcast. I want to thank everybody who gave the super chats at the beginning. You guys are all awesome. There's quite a bit to keep up with. And you guys mean the world to me. I appreciate you 100%. I want to introduce Tracey, also known as Trey Bolton of FishSmack here on YouTube. One of the channels I make sure to watch every time I get a notification from his links, and I think you would too. So before we even get started, I want to remind you guys that links to his channel will be in the description, whether you're watching on YouTube or in the podcast. It's very entertaining. It's shot very well. The man has a sense of humor, and it's just good stuff.
I appreciate it.
So we had you on Panfish Weekly.
Yes, sir.
That was a good time talking to you on there. Welcome, Art, One Ton Fishing Club. What's going on? He says Bugman in Virginia and North Carolina. I think they're talking about that big blue. That's a big blue. I wouldn't know what to do with a fish that big. For those of you listening at the podcast, there was one caught it right at around 120 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. By Tim King. He's a guide, I believe, on Kerr Lake. That's a monster fish. I'd been getting pictures of that sent to me all day. If you get a chance, check him out on TikTok, I believe. Put in Tim Kerr, I believe, or King's Catfishing. I was watching him live today, as a matter of fact. I don't know when he caught that fish. It sounds like this weekend, but he is on there, and I know he's got a big following there, and I'm sure he has links to his YouTube stuff and such, so make sure you check that out. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to take that time away from you, Trey.
It's all right. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for accepting and being here. So hopefully this isn't too repetitive for you, but I know we got a lot of different people in this audience and a little different crowd. So let's start from the very beginning. Can you let's get started. What part of the country are you in, bud?
I'm in Tennessee. I'm just a little bit outside, about 30 minutes outside of Nashville, in a town called Lebanon on Old Hickory Lake.
Lebanon, Tennessee. That's awesome. That's a brave thing to give away your home waters like that. I do it, but not too many people are. So,
but I don't. Like I said, March to October, I'm in the creeks, so I stay off the lakes. I'm only on the lakes pretty much from late October till about February. So boat's too small.
Plus, all the Googans put their boats up for the winter, right? I'm not sure how that works in Tennessee, but I know
I've got one guy. He is out there in a wetsuit almost every weekend. I'm just like, this guy. He's just diehard. So,
look at this. We got people in chat saying that they've been to Lebanon a bunch of times. Lyle even has a nephew who lives in Lebanon.
We'll have to meet up with him.
Who knows? Maybe he moved to Lebanon to get away from you, Lyle. I can't see that to be true. Who would do that? I've actually been through Lebanon a couple of times, and that whole state of Tennessee's really got near and dear to my heart. Yeah. I haven't spent any extended time in there, but it's a beautiful country, and I can only imagine what the fishing's like. I do have plans to go to Watts Bar. Have you been fortunate enough to fish that body of water yet?
It's on my list. It's on my list to definitely go. So where I'm at, I'm right in between Center Hill, Percy Priest, and Old Hickory. So I've got 3 lakes that are close to me. But honestly, I've got to get out to Watts Bar. I definitely want to go out there and try to do some catfishing. So
it's a little ways away. So I have a list of people that I'll let know once I'm out there, and maybe we can all hook up and maybe we can fish together, or at least get together and have, whether it's an adult beverage or a non-adult beverage, whatever your drink of choice is, or maybe we can just go get a couple of burgers. It don't matter to me, but I love meeting everybody who's out there.
If you definitely make it down to Watts Bar, definitely let me know. So
how far are you away? How far are you away from Watts Bar?
Watts Bar, it's outside of Chattanooga, correct?
I believe so.
I'm probably about 2 hours from Chattanooga, so not that far.
Anybody who watches or listens to the podcast knows that my geography is terrible. It's not a subject that I did very well in school. I know where Tennessee is, but inside of Tennessee is where I kind of lose. And I guess that's what happens when you live a sheltered life in the state called Illinois.
Yeah, so it's on the lower section of Tennessee, on the eastern.
Ka says it's the other direction. I know her or Jody would know. Catfishing with Ka says it's in the other direction, so we'll take her word for it.
Okay.
We'll get there. That's what GPS, that's what GPS is for. And ever since I started using GPS, I think I've lost all sense of direction. I can find it. I can find my way to I can find my way to the boat ramp, and that's all that counts.
I'm still the person that uses an almanac. So I don't. People tell me like tap it on your phone. I'm like, my phone will probably die on me. So it's like I'll just keep doing it the old way. So
Look at this. Kaz says she'll get us there. Sounds good, Kaz. So how did you get started in fishing? That's one of my standard questions. I like to hear where beginnings come from, when and where and how.
Um, growing up, I grew up on a farm. We had a old catfish pond behind us. I used to fish that. My dad never fished a whole lot with me because he was always working a lot. But I stayed in the creeks growing up. I just loved to try. I was the only kid up till 12, so I always had to entertain myself. But then as I got up older, I've only really been really trying to get good at this craft, I guess, for about 7.5 years now. So when I moved to Lebanon, my wife as a twin and her boyfriend fishes a lot, and he took me under his wing and started taking me out, teaching me a lot of stuff. And that's where I really got interested into it. Up at that point, I just, done it a little bit, and now it's turned into just an absolute passion, to try to learn this craft.
Passion / obsession. Trust me, I'm right there with
obsession,
you.
that's the word I was looking for. So
there's that meme out there. If I'm not fishing, I'm thinking about fishing, reading about fishing, watching fishing, arguing with the wife about what fishing stuff to buy, stuff like that.
That's it. Mine goes pretty easy on me on that stuff, but
yeah, mine is too. I just like to say that because it makes for good YouTube and podcasts. So and she really doesn't care if I'm going fishing. She's like, "Go, please, leave, get out."
Yeah.
I do have to admit, if I get skunked, she calls me on my way home and says, "Did you catch any fish?" Which means, are you crabby or are you in a good mood on my way home? She needs to know.
Yeah. I'm tough on myself if I go out and get skunked. So, but
it is what it is. There's Becca in the house. I saw Sandy pop in here. What's going on, Sandy? Van's wife. How you doing? I want to see. There's Creole Catfish in the raging. I gotta quit calling him the raging Cajun because I don't know if he likes that Cajun stuff. But he is my good friend. All right. So where to go from that? How did that develop into wanting to put your stuff on YouTube?
It started, I guess, one of my kind of favorite channels. I like John with Creek Fishing Adventures, and I was, watching him and enjoyed what he was doing. And Chris, a buddy that had taken me under his wing, he had kind of started filming some stuff when we went out, and so just going out with him, I thought, well, I'll try it, and kind of something new. I always like to kind of challenge myself with certain things, and I didn't have anything to really challenge myself with, so I'd never edited or done any type of that aspect of it. So the whole filming and all was kind of a fun challenge to kind of learn it. So like I said, and then I thought, well, let's see if we can build a channel. So that's kind of where it started.
And how long ago have you started?
August of last year is when I started. So I'm at a year and August, September, October, November, December, a year and 4 months now.
Year and 4 months. So it's been a little while.
Yeah.
And how do you enjoy the whole creative process of it?
I enjoy it. Well, and I'm my own worst enemy on certain things as far as pressuring myself, that's, so it can become, during the week, I'm constantly going through my head, like, what can I do? What can I do? Trying to come up with that creative aspect, something that's entertaining to watch. So you definitely can turn it into a job for sure. Like I said, and I feel like I owe it to the people that share their time with me, so I try to give it my all as much as I can. So
we got people sharing out your links in chat, so I do want to implore you guys to go out there and check it out and give them a sub. Make sure you watch a couple of videos. Me me and Trey were talking backstage, and he's coming across something that I'm definitely going to look into on my end. But a lot of times he says somebody will watch one of his videos and even comment on one of his videos, and they'll still disappear off his radar. So maybe you need to watch one or multiple videos, but I can guarantee you that if you start watching some of Trey's content, that you will be entertained. I mean, everything from his sense, like I said earlier, from his sense of humor to his relationship with his dogs going through the woods. That's something that's near and dear to my heart.
Yep.
It's a very good channel. I really enjoy it. I can't speak highly enough of it. And I know there's a couple other people here in chat that really enjoy your stuff too. I know Rob over at Mo Creek Fishing, he really enjoys his channel.
Rob
enjoys your channel. Yeah, hooks and hammocks.
He shares out my links. Thank you, Rob. And there TJ 351 Cleveland. There's so many people that just really do. I do appreciate their support, sharing out my links and stuff. It's more than I can ask for. So,
and TJ, thank you for the $5 super chat. You're awesome. I really appreciate the support, my friend. So he's been around for a while. He seems like a really good dude. So
he is.
Lot of good people out there that support our efforts, and without you guys, we wouldn't be anything. And I'm definitely here because I'm a big supporter of Trey's and his efforts. So I can't speak highly enough. Ronnie Moore in the house. He says, Missouri in the house. What's going on? We got a lot of good Missouri people out there. Here we go. Look at this. We got Catfish Heroes. Just an awesome channel. FishSmack. There you go.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that.
Highly regarded there. All right. So tell me a little bit about some of your content.
Well, like I said, most of the time during summer, pretty much March to October, I'm going to stay in the creeks. For me, it's just trying to get away from the crowds. I like really getting out, kind of exploring, getting back places where there's not a lot of foot traffic. That's one thing I noticed this summer. Kind of one thing I started doing was I do a lot of Google search and I'll find certain creeks that I want to try to target. And then I'll try to locate somebody in that area and then talk to them privately and see if I can access some sections of that creek that most people aren't going to get to. And that really paid dividends this summer. It's a lot of extra work, but I think my best day I had this summer was 40 smallies in one day in one section of a creek. I had one day of 30. I've had several 20s and easily 15s, but it's when I'm getting away from those areas where the foot traffic's at and getting out into those kind of areas that are kind of remote, the fishing seems to be so much better just because it's not getting fished. So, so that's kind of, and like I said, and it's, once again, it's that rub of you feel like you're trying to get that content out. So I'm trying to put myself into a position where I'm going to catch more fish. That's where, like I said, right now I'm kind of transitioning back to the lake. I'm kind of struggling right now, kind of getting my footing to get content out that I feel worthy of posting. So
we have a question from Mo Creek. He says, I missed it. It's scrolling so fast in chat. Did you ever find out anything about the bag, Trey? Can you tell us what he's talking about?
I did not. So,
let me thank Tim Molina, awesome supporter. He's been a channel member for 9 months. Tim, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And he has something not very nice to say about Lyle. He says, because Lyle put me to sleep. So that's just his soothing voice, I imagine, right?
So to answer Rob's question, so I'm trying to think what month it was. It was towards the latter part of summer. I was in a section here in Tennessee and was checking out a new creek. Oh, no, excuse me, a new section of a creek that I have been fishing, and I found a fishing bag completely filled with fishing gear, several $100s, and so I was really torn because where I was at was really remote. And I was like, well, is someone possibly camping out here? The way I found the bag was, I didn't want to, I posted a video on it and I didn't want to get too descriptive in the video because I really wanted to, I want to find the owner and I'm still trying to find the owner of that bag. But so I sat around for a while. Nobody ever showed up. I looked, and where the section I was in was about a 1,500 foot stretch, so I could see a long distance. And there were some of the things that were left out by the bag that if someone was fishing, I don't think that they would have left those out the way they were. And two, the bag, it has a bottom that it would sit on. It was not on that. It was later on its side, and some of the content was kind of spilled out. So I was kind of a little torn. I was like, well, I don't understand. And so I was like, well, do I leave it and then the creek gets up and it's washed into it, then it's gone, or do I not take it and someone else does come behind me and finds it and then they don't try to find the owner, just keep it. So I was really kind of torn, but after I sat there for a while, I was like, I guess I'm just going to take it home and really, I'm going to put a video out. I called the police department in the area, notified them. I called the local schools, told them about it. I give them all my contact information. I've checked Facebook, Craigslist. I've done a lot trying to find the owners of this and still haven't found them, but I'm going to continue to try to find this person. I've even reached out to some of the bigger channels, John with Creek Fishing Adventures and Alex with Realistic Fishing, and asked them if they could post it on some of their social media since they've got a footprint in Tennessee, whereas I do not. But I still haven't found the person, and I definitely want to find it because I know someone would have to be sick losing this, Like I said, and I know a couple of people said, well, they were probably, might have been using the bathroom in the bushes and I took their bag. I waited for a while. There was nobody. I didn't see any activity whatsoever. So, and it was getting pretty late in the day. And where I was at, I was about a mile and 3/4 away from any access point of just walking through the creek to get back. So, and it was late in the afternoon. So I decided to go ahead and try to take it and try to find the owner of it, but I'm still looking for that person. So,
well, you definitely have gone above and beyond what most people would have done, which kind of brought back, which reminded me of the very first video I saw yours. Rob had posted a link over at Missouri Creek Fishing to your the one about your Garmin fish finder.
Oh, the Garmin, yeah, the Garmin graph where Bass Pro.
Yeah, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about that? I don't mean to spoil it, but it is an older video. You'll have to go back and look for it and find it, and I highly recommend you watch it. But tell us a little bit about what happened with that situation.
Okay, so it was just a weird situation. So this was last Thanksgiving. I've been wanting to get live scope put on my boat. So I've been about 3 years working slowly, just bits and pieces. It's expensive. So it was Thanksgiving holiday. I guess Black Friday. I saw where Bass Pro was running a special on it was a 93 SV Garmin graph, and it was regularly $1,049, and it was on sale that week for $599. So I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and bite the bullet, and I'm going to get it. So I went ahead and ordered it, and like clockwork, 2 days later, I get notification that you got to sign for it, and it showed up. Well, I get it, and then 2 more days pass, and I get another text. I'm sitting here working, and it says, you've got a package being delivered. You got to sign for it. And I'm like, what in the world? I don't think I ordered anything else. And so when they showed up, I got the box and brought it in. I didn't think nothing of it. And I opened it up, and Bass Pro had sent me a second Garmin graph, just like one I had ordered. So I was like befuddled at this point. So I thought, did I somehow put 2 in my shopping cart and not realize it? So I logged on to Bank of America and checked real quick, and I didn't get a second charge. And I'm like, somehow they've sent it. So I called Bass Pro, and I was, to get them to send me a shipping label to send it back. And they're like, we didn't send 2. And I'm like, you sent me 2. I'm looking at the second graph right now. So, so that was what that video was about. Basically, I didn't,
Now, if I remember correctly, you did the whole explanation on the back of your kayak, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That I remember.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very cool and creative way of doing it, and very good way to.
I had about a 15-minute paddle that day to where I was going to fish. So I thought it'd be a good use of my time as I was paddling over there. So, and
it was. You definitely earned my subscription there, and I haven't turned back since. And while you were telling those 2 stories, we got a lot of people that have really been praising your channel and stuff. So if you guys haven't checked it out in chat or on the podcast, check them out. I mean, you'll really enjoy them. I know that he's been working his butt off, putting a lot of content together, a lot of high quality content. Like I was saying, storyline, there's a lot of humor. it's just all around good stuff. And for some reason, YouTube is definitely had not noticed that. And if anybody's listening out in YouTube land, if you have any pull or whatever, give this man a little bit of attention. So
I appreciate it.
He definitely
It might not
deserves
speak.
it.
Maybe it's just I'm not doing something right. I got to figure it out. So
That's the whole thing, trying to figure it out. It's an uphill battle, isn't it?
yeah, but once again, I mean that's what I like, a challenge. So I guess that's the one thing that keeps me digging now. So either I got to figure out how to continually make, and two, like I said, if nothing else, if I never got monetized, the people that I've met through doing this for the year and 4 months, I mean, I've got lifetime friends. I Rob, TJ, I mean, just Dan Thompson. Dan Thompson here recently sent me a care package, and I was absolutely blown away. Just someone to take the time to take their money to go buy something, to have to box the stuff up and go ship it. I mean, I was blown away. John, all these guys. I mean, it's just like I said. If I made nothing from YouTube, they're not hurting me, because the friendships I make through here is worth gold to me. So.
Definitely, not just the friends, the opportunity to fish with said friends and stuff. They're it's priceless. So,
yeah,
it's definitely one of the upsides to being part of the community and offering a piece of yourself for the content, and that's what I like to think that everybody should be trying to do. If you're not,
yeah.
When you're doing that, when you're being yourself on the camera and such, I think it reflects and it creates for a better experience. Also, it helps you to find your audience. If you're a creator out there, and I've told this to numerous creators that have messaged me for advice and stuff, is find your own audience, and that's the best way to do it. So,
Yeah.
And I definitely think that's what you're doing. It is an uphill battle, but it's definitely worth it in the long run, I believe.
Also, the people that I do find, though, like I said, every subscriber I've got right now, that's my goal. I want to know everybody by name. There's a lot of people that I talk through now. They've got my number. I text. It just, like I said, it means a lot to me, and I want to connect with those people and know what's going on in their lives, and and it's not just someone. I feel like I owe it to them. So.
Yeah, definitely. Sean over at Catfish Heroes has a question. He says, does Trey have a background in media or production?
No, sir. Just learning.
I couldn't tell.
Like I said, I'm gonna push myself. I do, like, if I'll try every week to try to, or I'll say this: each video, when a video comes out, I'll try to either learn something else about editing, or just to try to keep honing that craft in. Like I said, because a lot of times if the content's kind of bad, I'm needing some good editing to make it watchable. So.
Chad over at Fields of Water, he says, I don't know, with friends like I've made, I need to get paid so I can still afford drinking or start affording a drink. Chad, you bring that on yourself, my friend. But they wouldn't do that if they didn't love you, bud.
That's right.
We had talked about another story offline on one of our phone calls about a lady that got lost.
Yes.
Why don't you share that with them? Because I thought that was that just goes to show people in chat how off the beaten path you get in order to get your fishing done in your videos.
Yeah. So it was a weird day. So we were I was out fishing Cumberland Plateau area I really like to go to, and the section I was going to walk in that day, I'm sometimes just probably the longest I'll walk in some spots, maybe if I'm not really familiar, might be about, I think the most I did this summer is 4 in and 4 out. So 8-mile trek in. And that day was a day I was going in pretty far. But I was on the front end leg of it, and I was probably only about 1.5 miles, 2 miles in. And the area I was going into was a gorge. So it was, you can't get out once you get back in there. It's a 150-foot bluff on one side and pretty severe on the other side. And I had Nash and Red with me, and they're my guardians. They're always watching out for me. So
Nash and Red are your dogs, right?
Yes. Yeah. And they're sitting right here behind me on the floor. But they, so I noticed Nash and Red were there. Something got their attention across the creek from me. And this was a bluff side. And I was like, what are they looking at? And I know if Nash is onto something, there's something there. I just didn't know if it was a bobcat or something, who knows. But So I just kind of went back to fishing, and about a couple of minutes later, I heard some limbs break, and I was like, "What in the world is going on?" So I looked across the creek, and here comes a lady down the hillside, sliding down through all this brush, and I'm like, "What is this lady doing?" So she keeps walking down towards me, and she gets over to me, and she's like asking. She goes, can you get out by going this way? And I said, no, ma'am, you can't. She's like, you sure? I'm like, ma'am, I'm at here all the time. I know exactly where I'm at. I was like, you go this way, you're 6 miles into nothing. I was like, you're not getting out of here before dark. So she was sitting there kind of confused, and I was like, so I told her, I said, well, let me put my stuff down, and I'll walk you. I'm gonna walk you back. She didn't want to come across the creek because she was trying to stay dry, but I told her, I was like, you're going to have to come across the creek because the area I'm going to take you to, I'm going to get her to a trailhead to get out to where I think she was parked. And so I walked her back a good section of the creek and got her to 2 more straights to get out. And I pointed her, I said, just keep going this direction. And I told her exactly where to cross. But thank goodness, thank God I was in the right place, right time, because honestly, had she not crossed paths with me, she thought for sure the direction she was going that she was going to be able to get out. And it was later in the day. She would not have gotten out of there before dark. So
she's lucky she didn't. She ended up at home, not on the news, basically,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Rob says, interesting fish smart fact. Trey is ambidextrous. Not really. His edits are.
No, I am ambidextrous. So there's a funny story behind that. So there was I was doing some edits. I am ambidextrous, so I can cast both ways and reel both. I prefer reeling more on my right, but my bait casters and stuff are set up on my left. But Rob had one day messaged me, and he says, you're ambidextrous. He goes, or he asked me if I was ambidextrous, and I was like, I am. And I was kind of like, how in the world how did you know that? And we got to talking through text, and he was like, well, I noticed in one section, and 2 minutes later, it's like you switched your reel out. And I was like, no. I started thinking about it. I'm like, I didn't switch my reel that day. And I went back and looked at the footage, and what it was is a lot of times I will take and invert the view to change my angles up to make it to break it up. So 1 second you'll see me looking this direction fishing, and then you may see like a chest view, and then the next time it's where I've inverted my screen. So that's what Rob was seeing. But at first I was like, how in the world did he spot this to know? It's like he's really watching my videos close to know that
he's got a sharp eye. I noticed not silly, but I noticed anomalies like that to myself, which is probably why me and Rob get along so well.
Yep.
But that's a good tip right there. It's like getting that extra camera without having to buy it, right?
It is. Oh yeah. So it really will make it look like it's 2 different views. Like I said, a lot of times I'll break it up from left to chest view and then to right, so it's a little more subtle. And like I said, a lot of people aren't watching it that close. It's just someone will see it and just think it's just a different angle, when actually it's just an inverted screen. So
I'm going to take a little break here to answer something. Rustic Outdoor says, Mark, I want that hat. They are going up for sale. I'm waiting on the waiting list to contact me back. I reached out to a bunch of them. I got a couple of more to do that. And as soon as they are, whatever's left is going to be up for grab. Please keep an eye on the community tab. We'll let you know. Just so you guys know, I'm only doing it through PayPal. I don't have a merchant account set up on my site yet or not, but I will definitely let you guys know how to get a hold of them. So sorry for interrupting, but it's a question that I get a lot in everybody else's chat that I don't like to answer because it's about that show, not mine. And this is my show, so it might as well be about my merch once in a while.
Right.
So
it's housekeeping.
Cool. So excuse me. So, what are your future plans for FishSmack?
Like I said, I definitely would be lying to say that I didn't want to build the channel. I definitely will continue to try to hone the craft and figure out where my niche is in this market.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of great fishing channels out there. I'm not just creek fishing. I get bored with just one type of fishing. I like to fish for multiple species. So, but just keep building it. This next year, really, right now, I'm kind of in the point where I've got to get a vehicle. I can afford to get the vehicle. I've just really been putting it off because I love to take Nash and Red with me everywhere. And my old truck is just dirty and hairy and stinky. And I'm wet half the time when I'm getting out of the creeks because I don't wear waders during the summer. And it's just nice getting in a vehicle and not having to worry about it. And as soon as I bite the bullet and get a new vehicle, that's all going to change. I'm going to have, totes for clean clothes. And I don't really know what to do with Nash and them. I'm kind of torn between a Pathfinder or a Tacoma truck. But the only thing that's kind of, if I did get the Pathfinder, I would have to maybe put like a canine unit or have a canine unit maybe built out in the back or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I really got to get that because really that's really hampering me. There's a lot of people that I'm wanting to do some collaborations with on videos. I know Kelly, I've got to fish with him one time this summer, but there's so many people on my list I'm wanting to fish, but I really need to get a vehicle. My truck's got 350,000 miles on it. So
you're just breaking her in.
The old Red Falcon stays pretty close to the bird's nest. So I don't get too far away from home. So,
we've always had multiple dogs, and my wife, who's sitting here off screen, she came in here to inspect my show, but she'll never come on camera.
Uh-oh.
So if I'm a little off my game, it's because I'm being watched from behind me. So forgive me, people. The boss is in here. The chief financial officer who funds all of this stuff is here. But what she does in her car, she's got a nicer car than mine. We're not going to get into details, but she'd rather have them dogs in the back of that car, and she just lines it with blankets and a dog bed and a whole thing, and has me pull it out. And so we definitely do it. But where there's a will, there's a way, and the hair keeps down pretty good, and especially with Coco, she's got really coarse hair, and when it gets into that rug or that carpet, it's almost impossible to get out.
You'd have to burn every piece of fabric in my truck to get the hair out of it, I think.
Yep, definitely.
Yep.
I'd rather have a good time than a clean truck, though.
Like you said, that's the only thing. I'm so frugal on certain things. That's the reason I've always driven an old vehicle. I don't care about it. I've had one new vehicle in my entire life, and that was when I first got out of high school, and it drove me nuts. I mean, it would be 25 degrees out, and I'm out there polishing the wheels and worried about spots and mess and door dings. So it just works for me to have an old vehicle because then I don't care. If you hit it, whatever. It's just this weekend I was at a boat ramp, and they messed the boat ramp up, and I was having to Duke Hazard style. I was having to climb out over the hood and everything else to keep from stepping in the water. So, but that's why I would get, too. I was just looking at getting a used truck, but the used truck prices have gone up so.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane. I could have got a brand new TRD loaded Tacoma for last year, I would be paying the same price for a 2-year-old lower model with 40,000 miles now. Almost the same price.
I believe it. And I've heard rumors that Ford, not that I'm a Ford fan or you are or anything, but I heard rumors that Ford's was going to start selling the trucks that they've had sitting in that parking lot without the chips they need, and then enabling those options. So like you wouldn't have power defrost or power seats or something like that, and then having you come back for do it because there's such a shortage on vehicles. So.
Yep. I do a lot of loans for the Ford workers. I do mortgages, and I'm Kentucky licensed. Even though I'm in Tennessee, I work remotely, so I do a lot of loans in Louisville, and we do a lot.
So when I'm ready to make that move to God's country, maybe I'll give you a call. Huh?
I'm the back end. I've got away from. I used to do the origination on the front end, and I got to where my phone ringing 7 days a week. I was like, I'm tired of this. I'm going to hide behind the scenes. So
good stuff.
I do all the investigative work on the back end now. So
it's all getting crazy now, but that's a different show. Maybe I should start a different channel for politics and finance and the economy and all that stuff. I kind of got into that this morning on my members only chat. I'm thinking about deleting it because I kind of went off on a little rant early. So a rant for me. I'm usually a pretty nice guy, at least in in public. I got dog problems here behind me. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
So let's get back to fishing. What are some of your favorite species to catch?
Summertime, man, it's of course summer. I love smallmouth. I mean the creeks. Like I said, ultralight. I generally fish those all summer. That was my goal this summer, was to see, could I find a 20-inch smallmouth in the creeks.
I watched that.
Huh?
I watched those.
Yeah. So I found a 19 and a 20, so they're out there, and it still amazes me that those are there. Actually, was talking to one of our TWR agents this last week at one of the trout stockings we had here, and I was asking him for questions because I didn't know. I was like, a lot of these times I'm fishing these creeks, I'm mapping out where I'm kind of finding them,
mm-hmm.
and then how far they are away from larger bodies of water. And we kind of got in a discussion. I was like, are these the last one, the 20 that I caught here at was it first part of October? I mean, it was well into fall, getting close to where the temperatures are going to drop. And I was like, this fish is easily 25 miles, 30 miles away from any deep body of water that it would have to travel to. And so we got in a discussion. I was asking him, will they stay in the creeks? And he said that some of them will. He said that they actually did some test here recently in Tennessee with locators on some of these fish, and that they were finding these fish were staying within a 25 was the farthest that one would travel that they found this summer. But then they're all congregating back in one spot. And he says it doesn't have to be necessarily deep water. He says, but if you do find them, they'll be there. So I thought that was interesting. But I love the smallmouth. If I could fish it all the time, I love flatheads, of course. I mean, there's no better fight to me than flatheads. So, but that's, I guess
we got to get you up north here. And, speaking of which, hey, Fish on Luke, Luke's Henges is in here. What's going on? He says hello. The only fish I think that probably fights as hard, if not a little bit harder, is probably a sturgeon. So if we can get you up here, at least we'll get you on the Wisconsin River. Maybe we can talk to my buddy Eric B., who is on the podcast that Luke is a part of. I think you'd be pretty happy to hook into one.
That would be incredible. I'm talking what I've fished. Like I said, I'm pretty sheltered as far as my fishing has stayed within Tennessee. I got to fish one time in Portland. I went out there and fished for Chinook salmon, the spring Chinook, and they were catching sturgeon that day. It'd be nice to have caught something like that, but definitely. I just love the fight. So any type of we do have sturgeon here. Actually,
we're talking big ones, 60+ inches, and then there's some even bigger ones over on the East Coast that Stan is hooked into, and then on the West Coast, I know that Luke's been out there. And I'm going to start an argument if Lyle's still in here through and he hears this, or he's within earshot of this, he's going to come in here and definitely chime in. But that's a topic between them.
My talking about sturgeon, was it? I think it was year before last. My buddy Chris that had got me into fishing. He was out one afternoon, and he was, I think it was sauger fishing, but he had dropped the line out with a worm on a crappie pole, 6-pound test, and he hooked into a 5-pound sturgeon. It took him 2 hours, and he landed that sturgeon on that crappie pole with 6-pound test. He said it took him. He had to chase the thing. He said it was at least 2 miles downriver. He followed him, and then he came back up, but he ended up landing it. So,
well, that's cool. That's another adventure. And did you know that I believe that James Dockery, he's probably listening in the background. I think he holds the Missouri record for the shovel nose sturgeon. Really? To be honest with you, I think he owns the state record, or he did at one time. So, wow. Yeah, it's been a topic of discussion in the catfish community for a while. So we're probably starting something that some people might like and some people don't. But it's definitely it was on my bucket list. It was on my bucket list of fish this year. I got out there with Eric B. He's a guide over on the Wisconsin River, and I think we boated like 13, and the biggest one of it was a 42 incher, I think 40 some incher, and I had my I had my Abu Garcia Pro Rocket. It was the drag was cranked all the way down, and it was still drag. It was still pulling drag. I can only imagine what a 60+ incher is like. So
Now, are you
I hope
talking about a sturgeon or a shovelbill catfish?
no, it's shovelhead sturgeon.
Okay, I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah, there's different types of sturgeon.
Okay.
I could be wrong, and I'm sure he'll scold me. I'm looking at my Facebook Messenger right now. I don't have a message from him yet, but if I'm wrong, I'm sure I'd have got one.
Because Tennessee, now we've got a small window here where we can fish for shovelbill catfish or paddlefish. That's our season here is the tail end of April through March. So I do target them. Tennessee, it's there's no catch and release on them, but you can do a limit of 2 a day, and now they're a blast. I think I caught limit. I think I went 3 times year before last. I caught limit 2 days and caught one on another day. But I even had one 50-pound test. It snapped me off on 50-pound test. So.
That's probably a decent sized one right there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess one of my bucket list trips would definitely be head out to the West Coast and chase those big 8-footers and get on one of them. That would be something I definitely want to experience.
Or even Canada.
Not in Canada and what is it, Oregon, I think, or Washington State, Snake River. Or another one of mine, and I'm only bringing this up because I'm going to ask you this question, would be get on the giant trevallies over in the South Pacific. Those are probably my 2 dream trips, but that takes a lot of money to get around the world or a sponsorship. You hear that, right, Bacon? Sponsor your boy, man. I'll make you proud.
Or a big enough YouTube channel. So.
Yeah, that could be too. I've heard some rumors and stuff. So what about you? You got any bucket list fish or any dream trips you'd like to take?
Like I said, that's why I really need to get a vehicle so I can really kind of start expanding out. Want to really go down to Florida and of course a Goliath grouper has always just looked like a blast. But definitely would love to go down there and do some tarpon fishing. That's big. Like the sturgeon, like I said, definitely Vancouver. I've seen some monsters up there. I guess that would really, that's if I could even get those couple trips in here, just going down to Florida during the summer or during the winter months would be nice just for a week or so, just to have fun doing that.
I just like the sound of that drag peeling, man. There's something about watching these giant trevally videos where they're emptying spools and breaking people's hearts. I'm not going to lie. I'm getting to that age where we're casting, 10 to 12 inch plugs all day on the ocean. It is not something I'm looking forward to, but if I ever got hooked up to a decent sized one, it would definitely be a dream fulfilled. But then again, here we go making this show about me, and it's not about me.
No, it's definitely. I've always, to me, the drag peeling, a lot of people, that's one thing I don't like fishing with bait casters. I want to hear that sound of that spinning reel just. To me, it's almost like the old days in Vegas where you actually had the coins would actually hit the pan. It's like it's not the cards anymore, and I know that's the payoff is hearing that drag peeling like that.
Hold on, I got to do something right here.
Go ahead.
You guys are going to think I'm out of my mind, but I am going to do this just to prove a point. Hold on one second here, and the people in chat will definitely understand this. Hopefully I got it right. I got to remember what that is. But you'll see in chat here in a minute that even I'm adding to the sturgeon jar myself. So, all right. Look at this. I even gave myself a super chat because usually guys will throw in money into the sturgeon jar for mentioning sturgeon on my show. So I figured I'd punish myself. I gave my own self a darn $2 super chat. How about that? That's a first on any live show, I'll bet.
Gotta make it happen.
There we go. I hope you guys enjoyed it because the only reason why I did it is because the CFO went back into the other room. She didn't see that. Look at that. We got some people laughing about that.
That would be fun. I definitely got to get on some trips like that. So, and you gotta get on it. I hadn't really mentioned it. My grandfather passed away on December the 8th. And
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's all right. He was 92. He had an awesome life. He lived on the water. He loved to fish. And that was the last thing I wanted so bad to. I even talked to him about trying to plan a trip up and get him out and do like a day lunch where we could do like a shore lunch for him and stuff. And that slipped through our hands. And so it reminds me that you got to make it count. You got to get on stuff and you can't wait. So we're not promised any more days. So
yeah, you're not promised any more days. All you can do is make those days left have quality to them. Yeah. And fishing definitely does. I mean, on my website that I put up just recently, the line at the top of every page is "Make life good, go fishing."
Oh yeah,
and I'm a firm believer in that. And fishing's my connection to my past and my family and stuff. And it's as a lot of people here. If you don't have roots in it, I know. I was listening to that podcast that had Eric Bree on there. None of his family kind of fishes, but he's definitely starting it. So
yeah.
So
I've got some memories. I know it was my grandfather's cousin. He's passed, but he took me out one time, probably the first time I'd ever fished intercoastal waters for sea trout, and the most fun day I've ever had in my entire life. It was just cast reel. I mean, I bet we caught 200 sea trout that day. It was, well, like I said, I've got that memory,
That's another one on my list. Actually, here's a little backstory. When we had Babe Winkleman on Panfish Nation with Lyle, not Babe Winkleman, I think it was O'Neill Williams when we had on there. He was talking about this big get together that they have down in Louisiana to go after sea trout, and a bunch of people are going there. And I invited myself. I haven't gotten that call back from him. All he sent me was an autographed book, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
But trust me, I was definitely trying to get in on some of that action.
It was so fun. Like I said.
Cool. So what's going? Another one is red trout. Man, I'm getting carried away here. Once I start talking about fishing, I get carried away, which is probably why I should plug the LG Bass's show. I'm going to be on Wednesday, and I get a chance to just spew my passion for fishing on that one. So I hate to unload on you.
I love it.
Solely about you, but we'll see. Freddie's Outdoor Adventures adding more, 28 times and so far and counting, Mark. See what I mean? There's that S-jar going on. Where is Stan? He isn't in here. Oh, it's always a pleasure talking to you, Trey. I have to admit, I want to remind everybody out there to go check out his channel. It's shot really well. I'm not going to go into details. Me and him have had talks about how to get that kind of footage and stuff, and it's amazing that he does it with the tools that's available to him. I bring that up again because I know Luke's been a part of a big franchise called Northwoods Angling, where they shoot a lot of professional looking stuff. And now with his new channel, Fish on Luke, he's really putting some good stuff together. He's definitely getting his bearings with all of that. Go support both of those channels, obviously. Luke, he was talking about the promised land for channel cats, and you know what I noticed? He wasn't mentioning it, so maybe we're going to start keeping that on the down low. We're getting kind of close to that day, but I'll definitely send you a message. If you want to come up here this way, you're definitely going to be welcome for that trip. We're going to
appreciate it. Thank you.
So let's talk about some of your personal bests. People love personal bests.
Yep. As far as my PBs,
which one's most important? Which one is nearest and dearest to your heart? Let's start there.
Like I said, I stay pretty close to home. My PB, December 31st, was it last year or year before last? Year before last, was my flathead. So that was 40-pound flathead. It was 42 inches. That's been the best one that I pulled out of my local waters. Like I said, just being so new into it, I don't have a lot of big PBs. Like I said, my biggest PBs as far as creek smallies was the 20 that I caught here back first part of
Let me stop you right there. A 20-inch smallmouth. here we're considered to have a really good smallmouth fishery here on the Fox River. They've cleaned it up a lot. They've put a lot of the fishing clubs have put in. Have worked really hard to improve the fishery. We have seasons for them. Things like that have definitely made a big difference. And a 20-incher here is the sought after number.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys fish them up north too. That 20 inches, they're really, really happy to catch them. So mega kudos on that one. I think the biggest smallie I've ever caught was literally 15 inches. So
I was, and we've got, and like, if I could fish Del Hollow, I would love to. I mean, there's big fish on Del Hollow. My cousin was fishing there about a month ago, and he's pretty certain it was a smallie that he had on, and it snapped him off on 12-pound mono pretty easy. So he figured it had to be a pretty big fish. And I see the fish he catches a lot. He catches some big ones there. But once again, I've got to get a 4-wheel drive truck. My truck's only 2-wheel drive, so I'm afraid to go on any of the boat ramps on Del Hollow or Center Hill because they're very steep. And I'm just always afraid if I lost traction that I'm going to go in, even though my boat's small. But so, yeah, that's a big one, I think, just to get a 20-inch, smallie out of a creek. I was just curious, was it doable? And like I said, and where I caught him, it blows my mind to think that fish is at that length. You're talking almost a 10-year-old smallmouth. And I'm kind of like, does that fish just stay in that area? Did it grow up there and it doesn't migrate out?
I don't know. When you're creek fishing, it's, obviously the creeks they go up and down. Yeah. So I imagine that they'll get washed into other pools and stuff. And I imagine when you were talking to the biologist, when he mentioned 25 miles, I wonder if that's a one-way move or not. That's the first question that came to my head. But unless we had him on here, I don't think.
I think from what he told me, I thought he said the farthest it went was 25 miles.
Okay.
From where they tracked it. Now, he said they even had one fish. They thought actually that the fish had died. They actually sent a diver down because the smallie hadn't moved in almost 6 months. And so they sent a diver down, and when the diver went down, he spooked the smallie.
He did?
Yep. So that smallie had stayed in that had not moved for 6 months. It stayed in the same area. So, but it was interesting to get to talk to him. We got another trout stocking coming up January 4th, and I'm off that whole week. And he gave me his card, and I'm gonna go down and go down early and pick his brain some more. He was a real nice guy to talk to.
Cool. It's good. I need to make more connections with the local biologists and stuff. Yep. Everybody's been telling me sometimes all it takes is a call, and they're happy to talk your ear off because they're stuck behind a desk. So I think I'm definitely going to put that on my to-do list for this spring. Most definitely. And Chad over at Fields to Waters brings up that it is 3B's birthday today. Happy birthday, my friend. I want to make sure I say happy birthday to you. We appreciate you, and hopefully it's your best birthday yet. All right, so we got the flathead covered, and we got your smallmouth covered. Anything else you want to talk about?
There, as far as other PB, I mean, that's my other stuff. Crappie. I guess my biggest crappie, I pulled it out of Center Hill. I didn't weigh it. I measured it. I'm not one to weigh fish. I don't like holding fish by their jaws. I was reading an article about the damage that it does on their jaws. So I do not weigh anything by its mouth. But the longest crappie that I caught out of Center Hill was right at 18 inches. So, that's a good sized crappie for me, man. I'm a terrible crappie fisherman, but, that would probably be as far as my most notable fish. Like I said, I've got some other decent stuff, but my blue cat's pretty small. I think my biggest blue cat's 25, but
nice. You got me beat. Mine's a whole 8 pounds, but I don't fish for blue cats around here because we don't have them. I keep saying that because I'm kind of ashamed of that number, but I'm grateful to have that one under my belt.
And stripe. I'll say my best stripe. It was let me see. I've got a 42-inch muskie. And what was that stripe? It was close to 40, which we've got really big stripe here in some of our waters here. We've got a lot of people come out of state to fish some of our local waters here for stripe. So if you're into that type of fishing. Yeah,
striper. I mean, it depends on the waterway. I grew up fishing Now, I grew up fishing the Tippecanoe River. My parents had a little, I want to say a summer cottage, but it wasn't. It was pretty much a cement block shack with a roof and a fire pit outside. And it was my piece of heaven. I'm sorry we ever got rid of that, but we did because of flooding. And they stocked that with wipers quite a bit. There were no monsters, but man, they were fun to catch on Rapala plugs and stuff. And it was always a good time. That was always fun. That's where I fell in love with channel cats on that river. I hear there's flatheads there. They're not big ones, but they're further down in the lake. And I didn't really spend that much time away the river where that.
Here, where our channels are small. We don't have big channels here.
We don't have big channels. We got them up north here. I was happy this year on the Fox. I caught a ton of channels on the Fox this year, a ton of them on the lakes and stuff. But I had one day where I got a 10-pound and 2 14s, and 14 pounds is probably it is my Fox River record. I tied it twice in one day. So I was happy about that. So I'd caught it before. So I got 3 of them on there. And then, you know, of course, the magic place up north, which shall not be named anymore. If you haven't heard the name by now, I got a 16 on an ice rod, and I got a 17-pounder. I'm going after Brandon Cross's 29.7, I think it was, pounder next year. I want to get a 30 plus a couple of ounces. Just some friendly competition. I adore you, Brandon. You're my brother, but you know, I gotta one up you this year. I might even go there 2 weeks early to chase them fish.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, Kelly had a question here. He says, question for Trey. For Trey, where and when did you catch your first Kentucky smallie? Oh, he's plugging.
That was with Mr. Kelly.
Of course it is. Kelly's good at plugging himself.
His local waters. I'm not even going to give that creek away. That was a good creek.
Twisted Fishing, his PB striper is only 15 pounds. I got a 12-pound wiper. All great fish. All right, so we're over an hour, Trey. Yep. I really appreciate your time. I know you're East Coast time, right?
I'm Central.
Oh, you are Central? Okay, good. So I don't feel about keeping you past your bedtime.
No, you're all right. You're all right.
But I thank you so much for being on here. If you are not subscribed to Fish on Luke, go subscribe to Fish on Luke. All one word, look it up, you'll find it. But if you're not subscribed to Trey over at FishSmack, make sure you check him out. You really like his video. I'm sorry?
If you like it. You gotta like it.
I'm willing to say, hey, there's Brian B on there. Brian B got a big old 72-pounder. Congratulations again. Let me get back to this here. All right. If you're not subscribed to FishSmack, go watch some videos, comment on his videos. I'm pretty darn sure, I'll almost guarantee it. I'll give you a money-back guarantee since you're not paying me anything. That you're going to like his channel. Give him a sub. Do all the good things, ring the bell, hit the thumbs up. You like the way he shoots it. He's got a good personality, very, very humorous channel, and you can definitely tell he loves what he does and he puts his work into it. Make sure you check out Jeremy Colvin's Fishing. Let's get him back up to 1K after YouTube gave him the business and refused to monetize him. Let's get Fields to Waters back up to 1K after Fishing with the Chad got the hose. So those are all the plugs I'm going to do live. If you're listening on the podcast, I'm going to make sure to include every single one of those links in the podcast. Please check the description after you listen to the podcast. And if you've made it this far on the podcast, I need to beg you guys to do me a favor. Give me a 5-star review on these podcasts. A couple of people don't like the fact that I shout you guys out in chat, and it doesn't really matter to me because I adore you guys for being here. So if you could do that favor for me on the podcast, whether it's Google or Apple, I would be eternally grateful. And if you're still listening till now, I'm pretty sure that you're enjoying yourself. So God bless. Thank you again, Trey. Have a wonderful night, everybody. And we'll see you on Thursday on Panfish Nation, and we'll see you in the new year on the Catfish and Crappie podcast. Have a good one. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Thanks for watching on Twitch. Have a great one. Bye-bye, guys.